What's up, everybody?
What's up?
My name is Seth Skinner, and this is my good friend Dave.
Hey.
We wanted to do a wrestling show because we have been watching wrestling for like as long as we can remember.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And with the way things are going right now, we
Good
felt
time
like
as
it was
ever.
we felt like it was a good time for this.
Oh yeah.
So what I want to do first is break down WrestleMania 40, which happened probably 3 weeks ago now.
At this point, yeah, probably 3 weeks ago, 2 or 3, something like that.
And it was huge. Like, this generated so much money for them. They broke records. And for anyone who doesn't know, like, if you haven't seen this, obviously, like, people know about the Vince McMahon situation.
Yeah.
I don't know
They
that.
do.
Like, I think a lot of casuals probably don't necessarily know that it's like Triple H's thing now, and because a lot of people are going to remember Triple H. It's fucking Triple H.
Yeah, he was huge during the biggest time period in like the business,
Right.
basically. Yeah.
So now, he's basically creative lead, and it's completely kind of changing the trajectory of where things are going.
Big time is, and it's very noticeable.
It's exciting.
Yeah. Very.
Yeah, it's really cool because it was so needed at this point.
Oh man.
Like,
so I don't know how much you were following wrestling up until maybe like the past 2 years, right? Because like when we were little kids, that's like when we started watching it. We were all little kids, like right before the Attitude Era, and we were like peak 10, 12, whatever, like as that was all going down, like Stone Cold and The Rock and everything. And then the era right after that. But then in like the 2010s, there was this downtime, and it's kind of confirmed now due to how things are looking the past like year under Triple H's reign, that it was legitimately just the engine that was put together with like Vince and Kevin Dunn running, like
just
Kevin running
along
the TV production and Vince running everything, probably including TV overdone, was just so tired.
That's what it's the indication of, is that, they were just doing what they were always doing, but just being lazy about it. Just kind of coasting.
As Vince was getting older and getting more and more out of touch with where wrestling was going, where the product was going in other places outside of America, over in Japan and in the Indies and stuff, he just didn't care. It was so obvious.
It's his own ecosystem. Like, he's in his own world. He's got so much to think about. This is the thing with like any of these guys, even Dana White or whatever, it's like you're only thinking about your company. So you're not, it's not like he's sitting there watching NJPW shows.
No,
Vince is not
he very famously doesn't care. And like you said, how do you blame him when all he's focused on is everything that has to do with his product?
And why wouldn't he be? He built it from, you can't discount what he did.
No, hell no.
But
you just can't. But it was time.
It was time.
They needed a change. And like when AEW started, that was very refreshing.
Yeah.
It showed you like, oh, yeah, there needs to be a change. Not necessarily that WWE needs to go in the direction of AEW, because I think it's better that they don't.
Yeah.
But it just it kind of exposed like, oh, yeah, WWE needs to make a change now.
Right.
And then almost like, I don't know, it was almost like perfect symmetry that like right as it's peaking that it's got to change, all the stuff with Vince happens,
of course,
and he's got to go. And so as he's leaving, he puts Triple H in charge of creative. He makes him the guy that's now steering
which is the
ship.
best movie he could have made.
Oh my God. There's nobody more prepared. And
I think
no way.
Like, so I watched the Attitude Era when I was a kid, and I was young. But I really didn't watch. I stopped watching, then I came back around like the early 2000s.
Sure.
Which was
nasty.
Absolutely crazy.
Eddie and Kurt.
You can't. I look at that roster, dude. Everybody's on it.
It's so stacked. That's like the SmackDown Here Comes the Pain era.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of the best games ever.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Which is funny because like I barely ever played the game. I was just building stables and shit. Like,
I played
just, like,
the
factions.
shit out of that game.
Building factions and characters and shit was fucking. But I stopped watching again. I would say like 03, 04, maybe 5.
As you started to age into where like those later, it's the same thing that happened to me too, was like by the time I was like 17 or 18, my first band was starting to pick up.
Sure.
And like,
yeah,
I was just focused on
on
that. I was just busy with other stuff and wasn't watching it as much.
And, you know, that was also the time where like everybody was just like, oh, this is fake. And it's like, it was much more in the conversation about the way it was, and I don't know. It was just the kayfabe was not quite there the way it was. I don't know.
It was starting to fade away now. Anyway,
it was starting to fade. Is how I think about it.
Plus, that was like right as the UFC was really entering a good era, a really good era.
Yeah,
and that was kind of distracting.
Yes,
I think
it was majorly distracting.
Yeah, majorly. I think when social media really took off, and like Facebook somewhat, but more like Twitter and Instagram, is when it started to become possible to really follow wrestling and follow like multiple companies without having to sit down and commit to watching like 6 hours of wrestling every week.
Yeah.
Like,
well, not just
that was brutal.
I mean, you know, even during the Monday Night Wars, it was like you didn't have to watch 6 hours. You just had to watch during the hours that it was on because they were on at the same time.
Yep.
But the problem with that is you're flipping back and forth. You're like trying to keep up with what's happening.
And you couldn't help.
And the shows were fast paced too. So
and all live because they were competing, and you had to be watching them. Like, that was crazy. Yeah. But yeah, I think once social media made it consistently pretty easy to be aware of what was going on in products of wrestling companies wherever.
Well, even now it would be much easier to watch that. You could just have 2 monitors. People didn't have that back then. They had a fucking CRT TV that was a piece of furniture in their house. So it wasn't the same, you know.
Yeah,
and you got to flip through the channels, or you use the last channel button that goes back and forth.
That's what you do. That's what you actually do.
But I stopped after like in probably, you know, just before like Halo 3 came out as a benchmark.
I always tried to make a point to catch Royal Rumble and Mania. Even during the worst times, I would try to catch Rumble and Mania.
Yeah, of course.
Once social media hit, it became easier to follow, and then I feel like that's a big factor in the boom now, is like social media made it easier to follow.
Yeah,
then the wrestlers actually started to figure out how to use that to their advantage. You started to see dudes like what's his face? Matt Cardona. I think he wrestled as Zack Ryder, right?
Yep, Zack Ryder.
Yeah, you started to see him get himself over on like YouTube and stuff, which apparently Vince hated.
That's don't know. Another thing is you have another dimension like. If you want to go with that character, which
it just shows how much Vince didn't understand.
Yeah,
it's like, dude, he just got over for you.
You're building an audience when you're not on screen.
Yeah.
Well, you're on screen, but you're not in.
Easily too. He's just doing stupid shit on YouTube, but it got him over.
Yeah, and you also see the fan voices are much louder because of social media.
Well, and that's its own problem.
That's a plus and a minus.
That's definitely a plus and a minus.
But so yeah, I came back and started watching like right before the Daniel Bryan run sort of started.
Same here.
And that whole thing was captivating. That was great.
Yeah.
And you know, after that, I fell off again.
It was right around the time I met my wife, which was like a little over 11 years ago now, I think. 10 or 11 years ago. But either way, I had started watching it again with my buddy Mark Forbes, obviously, you know. We were hanging out and watching all the pay-per-views, as many of us as we could get and stuff, and trying to watch Raw and stuff. And I started dating Stace, and we would watch it together as well. And that's when I kind of started getting back into it, like for real, actually watching pay-per-views, following it on social media, and it was a roller coaster even just the past 10 years. There were times where it was good, but there were times where it was horrible. And you'd go, why?
I know. Well,
why?
And you know, I would still have the thing where I'd occasionally be like, I'm going to check out what they're doing right now, or like who's the guy that's coming up or whatever. But it felt like most of the time it was just Roman Reigns.
Or Cena was still going on at the time, which, you know.
Yeah, and
one of the greatest ever. But
yeah, of course. But at this point, I mean, it was probably only a year ago that I started watching again, if that, and it was because of the way things were moving, and I don't know, I don't know. I needed something to watch, first of all.
yeah. But now's the time, man.
This whole thing.
Now's the time.
Because AEW was starting, and I wanted to check that out. I wanted to, I love Jim Ross, so I mostly wanted to see. Yeah. I wanted to hear Jim Ross again, so I tuned into AEW, started watching that a little bit, and then started moving towards WWE again, and that's basically how I'm back into it. But this WrestleMania is kind of like right now. It was the culmination of a lot of things that Vince had set up, and I love the way that they were able to tie all these things together.
Mm-hmm. And it's hard to say if Vince even had a plan. We will never know. Like, we're just observers.
Yeah, and
at best we're fans that have been following since we were kids, and we know a little bit about it.
His plan wasn't this good. I'll tell you that.
No chance. That's why it's so cool, is because you can feel that the setup they have right now is so good that I genuinely feel like we are at the very beginning of the era that when we look back on this in like 10 to 15 years, we're going to be talking about it like it's the best era in the history of wrestling. I genuinely believe
possible.
That. Yeah. I get it's lofty, and a lot of people will be like, how could you say that with the Attitude Era and stuff?
Yeah.
Go back and watch Attitude Era stuff, It's not all Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock.
Hindsight is really the difference there.
Yeah. But right now, it's a lot of the things that people complained about with WWE in the past, which is like you were saying, like everything is Roman Reigns. Well, there was a reason why, because Vince would pay attention to Roman Reigns, and that's it. He would pay attention to his A story, and everything below that on the card, he didn't give a shit about, and he didn't care if it got time or not, or what was going on. But it's worth mentioning then that so much is culminating in this WrestleMania 40 that makes it feel like it really is this turning of a page.
He brought in storylines that are years old.
Yeah, years old. Found a way to tie them in geniusly, but it's not just that. It's like you had the women's revolution that started a while ago with NXT. You had the NXT in general was where this really all started in my mind. Was Vince giving Triple H NXT and him going, I'm going to turn this into the future,
Yes, because he, in a way, he's sort of controlling the pipeline that sends these guys to the big
and the show. Guys that came through there is like everybody now. There's guys that aren't, like AJ Styles is a main event level guy. He didn't come from NXT, but look how many guys did,
Right.
And so many of the dudes that are like certified Hall of Famers now are guys that were like that first class, like Sami Zayn and Seth Rollins and Roman and stuff,
You look at some of these guys now, and it's like you even if you had them 10 years ago, they wouldn't be on the level that they are because they wouldn't be utilized the same way.
No.
Like I don't even like. I feel
guess
like
some
Vince,
of like even with Vince, you still had Roman and Seth like elevating to the top of the deal.
Yeah. Well, Seth is undeniable. I think.
I mean,
he's just he's so good in the ring, and he's like good on the microphone. He's consistent. He doesn't seem to get hurt too much. Yeah,
shows up to everything.
Yeah.
But so I feel like all that stuff where they're at right now, where you have Triple H as the head of creative. You have The Rock on the board acting as not just a shareholder in the company who is an executive with the company. He's also a liaison between Triple H, who's going to be looking out for the best product. And he's going to be able to translate that to the board, who's a bunch of shareholders that are like, wrestling is doing money for us. And The Rock can go, look, I know you guys think this stuff matters, but this is wrestling. This matters instead.
You watch, the guys who know the most about the wrestling business are the guys who are performing in the wrestling business.
That's
so
correct.
When they come up and they say, like, here's what we got to do, like, you have to take it into account.
And having The Rock on the board is such a huge deal for that.
Yes.
It's like part of the puzzle.
Yeah.
Having Vince gone, having Triple H, who's been just starving to have his turn, you know?
Yep.
He's finally the guy. And all of this happened about a year ago, where it's like, like not even a year ago, but like maybe like 2 years ago, you started to see it. You started to feel it a bit.
Yeah.
Like, oh, something's going on. It was when Vince like first started getting washy and Triple H started to get a little bit more. And then about a year ago, he really had to step in.
Yeah.
And then Kevin Dunn left, and that's the last piece. Kevin Dunn leaving after all these decades of going, this product looks this one way.
This is how we do it.
Everybody's begging to change.
Yeah.
Now they've got a new guy in there. I don't even know the guy's name. I'd have to look it up.
Yeah.
But they've got a new guy in charge of TV production and how everything's presented, and he is godly.
That's great. Yeah,
it's
because
so good.
You see so much more backstage stuff now.
Dude, the one-shots. Like, just a couple, I can't remember if it was last week or the week before on Raw. They were in Montreal or Quebec or something like that, right? They were in Canada, and I believe it was Montreal. And they did this one shot where Jey Uso left the arena and was followed with a camera the whole time, and he's cutting a promo while he's walking out. He's talking shit, right?
Yeah.
He's walking by fans. There was even a fan that tried to get in his way with a selfie camera, and he like shoved him out of the way. It's pretty funny. Then he goes outside, and he walks, and it's all one shot, walks up to Sami Zayn, who's standing right out front going, dude, this is where I first saw wrestling. This is insane. And now I'm IC champ, and I'm coming back with the belt.
Yeah.
And then that same guy follows him all the way back in as he does it. He walks through there, hyping the place up, and does an entrance through the crowd all the way down the ring. And it's all one shot. You did not ever see that a single time.
That was the Gable match.
It was
right?
the Gable match, yeah. And you did not see that happen one time with Kevin Dunn in a million years. Because he had to have 55 camera cuts per minute every match. It was like, it was tough. It got real tough at the end. But again, it's that thing where like, right as Vince is going, they get a new TV guy. So the look is now new. The way they're handling storylines and the way they're booking because of Triple H is new, and they've got
coupled
The Rock on the board.
Yeah,
everything
all comes together.
It's just a perfect storm, and you've got debatably the most stacked roster of all time in any company ever in the history of wrestling.
Pretty good right now, yeah.
It is,
but this is my point,
ridiculous.
right? Like, so, like, if you had even 10 years ago, if you had LA Knight on the roster, he would just be a mid-tier guy.
Yeah, he's never getting used right.
But Vince wouldn't know how to use him.
Hunter's been so good at finding ways to keep main event level guys staying main event level in storylines without chasing the belt. Like AJ and LA Knight's grudge match situation going on. That's a Backlash. They're rematching, right? They had a match at, I think, Mania. And then they're rematching again because of just circumstance of the story. You know what I mean?
Which is good, which is fine.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
But yeah, I know what you're saying is like you're keeping storylines relevant without gold being in the picture.
Every storyline on the card every week is relevant and is given care.
Yes.
Men and women. We've never seen it. We've never seen it at this level this way.
Yeah.
With that much good stuff going on. You've got Rhea Ripley in the Judgment Day. You've got Damian Priest and Dom, and all these guys are all having stuff going on, right? And you've got the LWO stuff feuding with the split off of that with Santos Escobar, and that's all good. You've got Damage Control with Bayley and all that storyline stuff going on. You've got Jade Cargill coming in, seemingly in a new faction with Bianca and Naomi, which is sick. But just the point is like top to bottom, the whole card. Which brings us back to WrestleMania 40.
Right, because
that's one of the reasons Mania 40 is so special.
Yeah.
It will be talked about as one of the best, if not the best ever, in my opinion.
Well, they like I said before, this is really a culmination of what was going on in that Vince era, combined with new talent that's coming in, and it was just a perfect recipe, really.
Perfect. Everything's a perfect storm,
and
it's all they talked about all week.
Rhea Ripley is huge right now. She got
one of the most over people in all of wrestling, male or female, any company.
And the dynamic is so cool with her and Dom. Like everybody can't. Dom holds the microphone up to his face, and everybody boos. But Rhea,
second you hand her the mic, the place blows. It's the roof
instantly
off.
The roof's gone. Yep. And then so Becky Lynch is still a huge part of this picture. She's been up there for like
Mount Rushmore women's wrestler.
Yeah.
But real quick, that's the last thing too. Is so there was this groaning period, like this shitty period where people didn't get it. Like they learned that what kayfabe was and that it's a work.
Yeah.
But they didn't realize how cool that is, that it's a work.
Yes.
And that it doesn't matter. And the whole point is to get in on the work.
Yeah.
Enjoy the work, you know? There was a time period where it wasn't like that. And people would just be like, oh, it's fake. This stuff's stupid, right?
Yeah.
It feels right now like whatever they've been doing, it's finally getting people to have fun getting into the work itself. They know it's a work, but it's just like watching a movie.
Which is why you see like LA Knight going to AJ Styles' house with fake body cam shit.
But my point is like with the crowd, right? The crowd gets it now. And I don't think they always did. And you're seeing it in examples like you just brought up, where you have Dom come out, and even though a lot of people love Dom because he's like the most over heel in wrestling right now, he's the most like. The point is to get booed.
Yeah.
And people boo him out of the building. But they have fun doing it, and they know what they're doing now.
Yeah.
They're not just booing him because they hate him. They're booing him because they know he's playing a scumbag, and that's part of the fun of it, is to boo the scumbag, you know? Yes. And then Rhea is standing right next to him. Second she gets the mic, they pop. That is such a specific thing to show you that the viewers finally
are seeing it for what it is.
They get it.
Yes.
Yeah, they're seeing it for what it is and are allowed to finally just have fun with all of it.
You don't have to be a fan in kayfabe. You know what I mean?
You can understand that it's a work and enjoy the work without being like...
Which is what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, yes.
That's what it's supposed to be in the first place. It's supposed to be a linear show. It's a show. It's a serial show if you look at it.
It never has an off season.
Yeah.
There's storylines 52 weeks a year. They culminate all the time in different spots. Of course, like Mania is a big blow off.
Yeah, I look at it like SummerSlam and then WrestleMania are like
they're the opposites. Yeah,
they
split the
kind
year.
of just
But they've shown us now that big stuff will happen whenever, which is cool, you know. And that's the other thing too, is that with a lot of these storylines, you kind of went into Mania going, oh, this guy's got to win. This guy's got to win, right? And you'll have the like really extreme kind of bad side of the internet wrestling community will shit on that. Oh, it's too predictable. That's what made the stories feel good when they paid off, though.
Yes, that's the problem.
Like, sometimes when you go watch a good movie, like, okay, go watch a Jackie Chan movie and go in and go, I don't know if Jackie Chan's going to win the fight. Really? I think you do.
Yeah, and I want him to.
You want him to, and you're going to pop when he does crazy shit with a ladder or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
and backflips off.
Yeah. That's where I say people are finally getting like, who cares if it's predictable?
Well, that's the problem is when you
those moments.
When you like, if you want it to not be predictable, the product is going to suffer because you're not ever giving the fans what they actually want.
Them. We got to swerve them just to swerve them.
Yeah.
You do, really? So you're going to spend 3 years building the Cody story that has to culminate in him doing the thing that he's been trying to do since he was a kid.
We
has
literally...
to happen. You're going to swerve him at 40.
We called it...
And blow the whole event.
We completely were like, they're going to lose the first night. They're going to win. He's going to win the second
we
night.
called it immediately.
It was so obvious, but...
It was so good, though.
It didn't matter.
It had to be that, or it was ruined.
Right. It did not matter. And that's what they're doing so well. And the fucking fans are eating the fuck out of it, dude.
Yeah. And there's people that are there, like, there's always gonna be extreme IWC type wrestling fans that are like, we only listen to Dave Meltzer. We have to hate WWE because it's like the same mindset as the person who goes, I cannot enjoy Rocket League because it's popular. I've got to enjoy this other Who Cares game that's not as good, but it's not popular. So that's the one I like.
That's the
mindset that is where it comes from.
Yeah.
It is the mindset it comes from.
Yeah.
Not to say that you're not allowed to not like stuff you don't like. Like, I'm sure there's tons of people that don't give a rat's ass about frickin', I don't know, Cody or whatever, right? And they're like, all these guys suck. Why couldn't it be Tajiri or something? Which I get. Noodle, I know you're out there. His favorite wrestler is Tajiri, and he's going to say, I want Tajiri. But my point is just there's always going to be personal preference, and that's totally fine.
Yeah.
But the inability to just relax and enjoy the product it's always going to be weird to me, but it is what it is, you know. I feel like
that's their own problem, though.
That's their own problem.
Do what they're doing. That's all that matters.
And what's funny is not to open a whole can of worms. This is a topic we can go into more detail in another episode, because this is the first episode. It's worth noting we don't really have too much of a format other than we're going to try to get together as much as we can and talk about wrestling.
Well, the reality is, here's the thing. Like, we're gonna probably have times where this is what we're gonna do, but it's just not going to happen, and we know it isn't going to happen.
Yeah, and we want it loose.
We've had this up, right?
Yeah.
We haven't talked about
and we are going to do this. Yeah, we'll go through the WrestleMania 40 card. But this is all just kind of, for some reason you're listening to this and you are not currently following wrestling to the level that we are, or are just getting in, this is a good starter. There's a lot of backstory, and this is good to bring up. So I watch wrestling right now with a group of friends that we started watching it together a couple years ago out of just they're all some of my closest friends, but it was convenient. We all live very close. We all happen to have schedules that line up so that it's easy for us to get together.
Well, I know that some of them didn't even watch.
But that's what I'm getting at. Multiple of those friends were like, oh, I watched, we would get together and watch Mania, and they'd be like, I'll go watch Mania. I'd never watched wrestling before or whatever, right? Yeah. And then they saw Mania, and they're like, this is kind of cool. And they would ask me questions and stuff, because they've just been following us since I was like 4 or whatever. And so they were like, and this is what I'm getting at too, is like, those people, those friends of mine that got into it, they're mutual friends of ours, they're my best friends. They got into it almost like as soon as they realized there's 45 years of lore. It was the lore of wrestling that drew them in. And that's why I think WWE has such an edge right now, because they have all this lore to play off of, and they're actually finally using it. They're finally using it.
Well, they have, it's a legendary company.
Of course.
Just everybody knows who Hulk Hogan is. You know, it's like they have a lineage. They know, you can call back to a lot of different things.
And that's one of the draws. That's like what makes WWE so accessible.
The reality
as opposed
too
to others,
is that everybody's watched wrestling before.
Yeah, everybody's seen it.
I can't think of
everybody's seen it at this point, especially when it was like the Attitude Era and you had Stone Cold and The Rock. They're just too famous outside of wrestling for people to not have gone. Like, especially The Rock, you just have gone and been like, what did he do before he got in Hollywood that made it so easy for him to go from zero to the most paid guy instant? Oh, that. And you show him footage of WrestleMania 17 against Austin in front of 70,000 people or whatever, where he comes out and goes on the turnbuckle, goes like this, and you can't see him because of the camera flashes. They're so huge.
Every era there's an iconic person in every era. So
Absolutely.
Everybody knows who The Undertaker is and shit. So it's like, everyone I think has probably seen.
Which I love that you're saying that. I love that you said that, because that can tie us back to Mania 40 for this reason.
Sure.
Mania 40 had a moment specifically that's been building for a few years now that they actually did pull off perfect. That kind of solidified that it might be the best Mania ever, because it was a true, legitimate passing of the passing of the torch of the guy in the whole industry, which I know will piss some fans off. Good luck denying it, though, if you're paying attention, because numbers, reach globally, sales, ticket sales, merch sales, all that stuff, WWE tends to have the guy who is the face of the business, right?
Yeah,
and for a long time, like the first kind of was Hulk Hogan, right? And then it was like Stone Cold and The Rock. And then it was John Cena for a long time. It was John Cena.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was Roman Reigns. And at Mania 40, Roman passed that torch.
Yeah.
Full bore. Went, this is the guy now to Cody Rhodes. And that's that having that moment take place and actually get handled right, where everybody involved just did the right business. Nobody tried to crawfish it. Nobody tried to screw anything over. There was no like Starrcade 97 moment where Hogan just was like, count normal, brother.
Well, what I hope happens too with this run, because he is going to be the top guy for a long time.
Absolutely.
But I want it to be, I don't want it to be the Roman Reigns, the way they did Roman Reigns, where it's a one long run. I want him to drop the belt sometime.
I'm sure he will.
You know?
I'm sure he will.
He needs to be
Roman did too. That's the thing.
Sure.
Roman's been the top guy longer than just the one title reign.
Yeah, of course.
But the one title reign was insane.
Yes.
It was insane.
Like the thing he's going to be known for.
It is, yeah. When everything's said and done, Roman's going to be known for the Bloodline story.
Yes.
That, like, there's no question, which is crazy because the Shield was such an influential, like, faction, you know?
Oh, yeah. And if you look at the Shield, you go like, oh, every one of them is super
world champions.
Talented.
Yeah. Moxley is the MVP of AEW.
Oh,
like,
yeah, undeniably.
I don't follow AEW as much as I do WWE, but I still follow it. And I follow it mostly because I don't really care about what company it is per se. I more follow the guys. I love just wrestlers. I love watching good wrestling.
Of what's going on?
Yeah,
I don't really watch too much of it.
I try to watch, like, if there's a big pay-per-view, I'll try to catch up on it.
I'll watch it if they're showing backstage footage of CM Punk Jungle
Yeah,
Boy.
that's not the smartest thing they did. That was kind of a disaster. But my point is just like, there's a lot of good guys over there who deserve to get recognition for their work.
Yes.
And I want to see AEW. Like, I'm not an AEW hater. I don't think AEW now is doing as good as WWE is.
Well, it's good to have another show, though. It's good to have it. It is.
You have to have it, yeah. But I just want to see them get to a place where even if they're not operating at the global scale of WWE or doing things exactly the same as WWE, I don't think they need to. I get that they're trying to make a different product and stuff.
Sure.
I just want it to be compelling enough to where these guys can build a legacy they're proud of, and that matters to anybody.
Yeah.
Because if all it matters to is one little subsect of the internet community that they're currently targeting, that doesn't work, man. Yeah. These guys deserve to be on magazine covers and shit. Like Kenny Omega is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. And is AEW really going to be the place where when he retires, he can know for a fact that he has solidified himself as one of the greatest of all time? Or does it require going to WWE, not even because it's WWE, you know what I mean? But because that's where you're going to get the most amount of outreach globally to where you will be remembered forever as one of the greats.
The spectacle is
it's a bummer. I don't want it to be only WWE that has that reach, but it is what it is right now.
Well, it's just like, you look at Fedor, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of the same.
It is. It's the what if. It's the what if. Yeah. What happens if you put that guy there? And AJ Styles is such a great example of it because Kenny was kind of like, well, he's not the only, but he was like one of the guys over in Japan for a while. That's where he got the moniker the best bout machine, and he was just so good, dude. His matches over there were so unbelievable. AJ was over there. Mm-hmm. He was like in the Bullet Club and stuff. He had those legendary matches with Nakamura at Wrestle Kingdom and stuff. Then he came over to WWE and he was world champion like a year because he was that good, Yeah. It makes me wonder with guys like that. But yeah, that's a whole nother topic. We're going to rant a lot about that stuff. The end result is that it is a very, very good time to get in. Yes. And the people that I was watching or that I watch this with right now are so sucked in, and they get it now. They get that it's work, and they've never watched wrestling before, or if they have, it was very sparse. What they didn't follow it like they are right now, and now it's really cool for me to get to sit and watch new people get to have good moments.
And that's great too.
And
you
it's
get
so
to
lucky the time they got in is like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And they're getting to watch right as this new
plus you get to go like
it is popping
this
off.
Is why.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And this is what happened.
And I try to do that for them as much as I can without overstepping or just being a ranty fucking talk over the whole thing. I try to control that, but I try to make sure that, you know, anytime I'm watching, if someone's like, who's this guy? Or why are they feuding? What is that? Mm-hmm. And if I know, like, oh, see, that's cool because these two's parents had a crazy feud in this, like any lore I know that I can give them to connect the dots, I'm trying to give. And anything I know about how the work works, which obviously I'm not a wrestler and I don't work in wrestling. So it's not like I'm going to sit here and claim I know a ton or whatever,
right?
But I've picked up a little bit just from watching it for so long and following backstage interviews and watching guys talk about it and stuff.
Yeah.
That's where all my knowledge comes from.
Which is why I'm saying, like, I feel like if anybody who was seen wrestling before and you were at all interested, just start watching it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And
right
honestly,
now
you could start with
time.
WrestleMania 40.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Even in like the post-event press conferences, which I personally love. A lot of people say they don't like them. I love them.
What would you not like about it?
I don't know. I don't know what the take is, but I've heard that there's people like in the
it's
industry and stuff that don't like it.
They'll do these post-fight, post-event, I got whatever they call them, but sometimes they're in character and sometimes they're not.
And I like both. Yeah, use it. If you need it, use it as an opportunity.
Yeah.
Having said that, it's also really
I think
cool
what
to
people
see
don't
guys
like is
remove
that
it.
It's knocking the door down. It's knocking that door
but
down.
that door's gone. That door got blown off the hinges by a
Yeah.
nuclear bomb in the 90s.
Yeah.
Gone. Bye.
Mm-hmm.
So fuck the door. Just acknowledge that it's a work, but don't do it in a cringy way. Like I hate when I'm watching wrestling and the commentators are like, oh, he's trying to get over, or he's trying to sneak in, he's trying to get, he's trying to go, he's trying to shoot on him. It's like, dude, you're just trying to use inside baseball terms on the broadcast to seem cool. Like, you don't need that. But you can organically talk about the product outside.
Well, you know who's so good at that is Pat McAfee, and I love Pat McAfee.
Also love Pat McAfee. I think he's great.
He's just done such a good job.
Him and Michael Cole is a great duo,
yeah.
dude. That's another thing worth
noting.
That
boosted Michael Cole too. He's so much better now.
Plus having Vince out of the ear and being able to be free,
Yeah.
Having said that, that's another thing about why now is the time, is because not just the TV presentation, but the commentary. Like the commentators, it's everybody's amazing right now. They've got a great commentary setup. The ring announcer, Samantha Irvin, I think is her last name.
Yeah.
She might be the greatest of all time. Like unbelievable,
she's up there.
Dude. She is unbelievable. So, okay.
Yeah, the whole presentation. Not minus anything.
So there's our little 20, 30 minute setup. And it's episode 1. We got it out of the way. That's good. Talked a little bit about where we come from, why we're doing this and stuff like that. So the point is, all roads lead to Mania 40. They're all saying it. Triple H was saying in the post-event press conference or whatever we're going to call it, that this is the starting line.
Yes.
This is where we change everything.
And
Mania 40 was the switch.
It's a new era.
Yes,
this is what
he is saying this is the switch. And almost to confirm it, the Raw after Mania, I'm guessing you watched it. Yeah. Raw after Mania opened with Triple H's music. He walks out and stands in the ring, and the crowd blows the roof off the place and just chants, "Thank you, Hunter," for a minute straight.
Yeah.
He doesn't say a word. They just blow the roof off the place. And then he just talks about the new era, starts now, and he brings in the champion of the new era, and he brings in Cody. That's how you know. Right now is you want to get in. If you're trying to follow wrestling and you want to get in, right now is the time.
Yeah.
It is popping off right now.
And you will recognize some people here.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, shit,
it's
Rey
not
Mysterio.
all new guys.
Rey Mysterio's
right there. Rey Mysterio Jr., one of the greatest of all time, and he's been around since the 90s.
God, yeah, he's been doing it forever. As long as I can remember, honestly. He's probably been doing it as long as I've fucking been alive.
I guarantee you he has, yeah. Dude, he started
30 plus
wrestling
years,
in Mexico when he was like 16 or something like that. That's crazy.
So, I mean, like, the Awesome Truth is absolutely awesome. I fucking love it.
So good.
I absolutely love what they're doing with that.
R-Truth is having a career on the side.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Okay,
and him and The Miz is like a perfect pairing.
Right now, officially, we have given all the setup we can. We've given context.
Yeah.
We'll start breaking down Mania 40. Let's do that. Yeah.
For people who actually watch already.
Yeah. So, night one, Rhea Ripley, Becky Lynch.
All the hardcore wrestling fans have to skip to this time
Yeah. We don't know the timestamp, so we can't tell you. But we'll figure it out.
We'll put it in there.
Okay, so first match of the whole weekend. Well, it wasn't, though. Technically, because you have NXT right before it. Well, the whole week is Friday, just WrestleMania week. It's
Saturday,
the craziest.
Sunday, Monday. I mean, the whole thing.
And prior, starting on the previous Monday, like they have Raw or whatever, right? The go home Raw or whatever they call it, for Mania, and then of course SmackDown on Friday, same deal. And then the Hall of Fame. Did they did SmackDown on Friday, right?
Yeah,
and then they did the Hall of Fame, right?
Yes.
So where was NXT? Because don't they usually do an NXT pay-per-view as well somewhere in there? I thought they did. Or was that Tuesday? Because usually NXT's on Tuesdays.
I haven't watched
maybe it was
NXT
Tuesday.
in a while. It's
NXT's
on TV.
good, man.
It's on actual TV, isn't
it? It is now, I think, yeah. But either way, that whole Mania week is the craziest week of the year for wrestling. Yeah. It's like Monday through Sunday.
Another thing we should mention,
the Raw before Mania
is the Netflix deal too, because that is happening. And
that is happening, and that's going to be game changing. And so, one of the biggest things about wrestling traditionally that kind of made it a lull was this PG era.
Yeah,
because
it limited what you could do.
It became a publicly shared company, publicly traded.
Sure.
And then shareholders were like, "We need advertising money, so you need to chill and make it real safe."
Yeah.
And now it's privately owned again,
yeah.
which is awesome. And because of that, they're able to get away with a little more. They're getting back into a little more realistic of really it was I think promos, like dialogue and stuff on the show is what suffered the most. And like no bleeding, but bleeding's whatever anyways.
Well, what's going to happen sometimes?
If it's overdone, it's trash, but if it just happens, it's cool, you know?
Yeah, sometimes it's everybody's fucking cutting and
that opens a whole different problem, but right now, what you just brought up, the Netflix deal, when they get to Netflix,
that's huge.
They're going to be able to say fuck and stuff on the air. They can say whatever they want. They can do whatever they want. I'm excited for that. The Rock doesn't care. He was saying fucking promos on live TV and shit. Anyways. He doesn't care.
Yeah,
he's like, find me though? Find me.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
Okay, so there was other stuff before, but this is Mania starts. It was Saturday,
actually,
right?
This ladder match was actually pretty good. I like this ladder match.
So the first match, Rhea versus Becky, I think a lot of people probably thought the belt was going to change hands there just because it was, Mania, and a lot of times that happens.
Yeah.
But it was the perfect call to have Rhea defend. It just solidifies that she is the woman.
And you
right
want
now.
her carrying into to this new
absolutely
they're going with things.
She is the future.
Yeah.
No question. But yeah, that was a great match. We're not going to sit down and just break down every single thing that happened in a match. Not going to happen. But anything
ducks under the clothesline.
No, anything major that's worth pointing out, though, sure.
Yeah.
But no, it was a sick match. It had a great pace. It was hard hitting. Mm-hmm. Watching the women wrestle in WWE, it shows you that there's levels, because you watch the women wrestle anywhere else. It's my biggest thing with AEW is the women's wrestling. You watch them wrestle and you go, like, I want to like them. I have so much respect and admiration for wrestlers as it is, but it just isn't getting it's just not on the same level. It just isn't.
It's the original.
It's night and day, man.
That original, when the women's thing just kind of took off.
Yeah.
That core group.
Oh, man.
Was what really did that.
They were what pushed the pace and
and
pushed the work.
You had to match them.
You had to get on that level or it's off. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's good, because there's people from that like Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné. She's in AEW now. She's gonna hopefully she's able to force that.
Elevate.
Toni Storm is like the face of the women's division in AEW right now. Yeah. She's incredible, and she tries to push that pace as well.
Yeah.
There's some good, like some matches will be good, but other times it's really about, to me, it's like a speed thing. When everybody's doing stuff too slow and it just looks slow and soft, it hurts the work. Having said that, Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch was nasty, no complaints. I thought it was a great match, and it set the pace for the whole weekend. And it was intended. There's a big slot.
Yeah, and
first
you get
match of Mania
a
sets the pace.
Championship match right off the bat.
Yep.
This was a championship match too.
The ladder match. Yep.
This was
smart.
Did they unify belts in this? Because they did have two sets of belts, right?
The belts had been unified for a while,
but they
used
separate.
This to split them.
Okay.
They put them on two separate
hangers. So they're splitting it.
So one team grabbed one set, and the match continued in a fight for the
other
other set.
They've also revealed new belts, a lot of new belts.
It's amazing. Everything they're doing with the belts right now is incredible, but we'll save that for another topic.
But it's a ladder match. You kind of know what to expect from
and you can
matches.
tell that this was and so like Mania 40 felt like there were hints of things going on that were an homage to the history of WrestleMania.
Yes.
And it was so cool. This ladder match felt like that, paying homage to like the TLCs and stuff of the prior Manias and whatnot. All the guys in this match are so good, and some of them are new guys that a lot of people might not know a lot about, like DIY, Gargano and Ciampa. They were so incredible in NXT, and a lot of people don't even realize. Yeah. And those guys.
That was when I watched NXT.
Was when those guys,
when those two were around.
Oh yeah,
and Finn Balor was still there.
Yep.
Man,
Damian Priest never.
Breeze,
I don't remember him.
Tyler Breeze was there.
Tyler Breeze is amazing. He's amazing. He's like I don't know if he's a producer backstage now, but he does up, down, down.
He was so good, man.
With
I
Xavier.
love Tyler Breeze.
Yeah, for sure. Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, both nasty dudes that were from NXT UK before.
The New Day has been around for a while now.
Yeah, they're Hall of Fame.
It's actually been a long time that they've been around.
Yep.
I remember, dude, people hated that when they first came out. They hated that gimmick.
They really did, but they just went.
They stuck with it.
Too good.
They changed it. They definitely changed
they did.
it. But they were like, it doesn't matter.
And now it's one of the greatest factions ever.
Everybody's fucking obsessed with it.
This match is cool for me, the ladder match, because traditionally in a match like this, there's always some amount of the guys that you're looking at going, like, I guess, they just got thrown in. Everybody in this match is so nasty.
Yeah.
Even the guys that you might not know about, that some people might be looking at it going, I don't know about these guys. They're good.
Well, I know a lot of people are just like not on the Austin Theory train. And there's a
which
couple
I
of these
don't
guys
get. Austin and Grayson are so good.
Yeah, there's a couple guys I could see that people are just not really
like New Catch Republic. They're kind of a work in progress. They had to do a lot of corrective work to get those guys back on track, because Pete Dunne was being called Butch for no reason because of just Vince's done.
Well, it seems like the tag team division has been neglected for a while.
Big
you
time.
really only had a few tag teams.
This match was the start.
They said, here are the tag teams.
Splitting the belts and establishing there's now tag team divisions. It needed it bad, and that's what this accomplished. I love seeing R-Truth get a Mania moment. He is the funniest guy ever in wrestling for me. I think he's the best comedy act ever. There's been some good ones like Santino Marella and stuff like that, but
Eugene is probably my favorite.
Eugene's pretty fun. That's kind of fucked up, but yeah. And then after that was what? Mysterio and Andrade versus Santos and Dom.
Yes.
Right?
So
that's been wicked cool too.
Yeah, that's great. I love that.
That's been cool because it's two Latin factions, Latin, whatever. It's two
LWO.
factions. It's LWO and the split off with Santos turning on Ray and going that way, and they perfectly squad up so they can feud with each other. That's wicked cool.
And he still gets to work with his son,
And they've had storylines going with all of that stuff and continuing to go, and they still give it time, and they respect the story.
Yeah.
They actually respect every story and let people cook. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so even though these guys aren't feuding, Carlito being back is awesome. And like, perfect example. You have this Cruz del Toro and Joaquin Wilde guy and Angel Garza and the Berto dude, right?
Yeah.
They're not guys that a lot of people knew. But like when we started watching a couple years ago was when it was Ray and Santos and Zelina, and they were kind of like starting the LWO, right? Yeah. And everyone was going, who's this Santos guy? And I was like, we're going to find out. Yeah. We'll see where he is in 2 years. He got so good and showed people he was so good. He ended up breaking off and starting his own deal. He's a great promo. Mm-hmm. He's nasty in the ring. Like he's
really
made,
good in the ring.
Yeah, all these guys are so good, and they get a chance to show you that they are.
Yeah.
So that was like my big takeaway from this match. It was cool. It was a great match. It was cool to see these guys get to actually tell a story.
It's great for some of these other guys too to be able to work with Mysterio and Andrade.
Oh yeah.
Because that's
important too, because Andrade at this point is a mega veteran too.
Yes.
No one's on the level of Ray. And every single one of these guys is going, Ray is my God.
I mean, Ray's been everywhere.
I worship him, yeah. But yeah,
that's another guy, like, even if you don't watch wrestling, you probably know who Rey Mysterio is.
Yep. Yeah, he's one of those guys that transcends. The next match, Jay and Jimmy, this was the most disappointing match of the whole weekend for me.
I can agree with that.
This was a bummer. I feel bad for these guys.
This is a big, because you got to think. You have to think too, right? These guys are brothers, so they literally had to have had like some of this planned in their living room when they were fucking 8 years old.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. Like some of these spots, they were probably like, if we have a match with each other at WrestleMania, we gotta do this.
I don't think they did.
How could you not?
I expect that you're right about that. That they have spots they've been planning since they were 5 or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I don't think they got to do them. I don't think they got it right. Watching the match, it did not feel like
It felt disconnected.
It felt like they didn't get it right. And I hope they get another chance someday.
They will.
Yeah, I hope they get another chance someday. I think that they probably know they kind of missed the mark on it.
Sure.
And I think that the reason it felt so much like they missed the mark was because everything else around it all weekend was absolutely incredible. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And that was the one time you were
the bar was set really high.
Yeah.
So and it was immediately set high.
Yes.
Which is kind of
right off the bat, the first match of the weekend set the pace.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was my takeaway from that one. The fifth match is Jade, Bianca, and Naomi versus Damage Control. That was fucking awesome. Mm-hmm. I thought that was great. Short, sweet, did everything
it's great.
It needed to do.
It does a good job of showing Jade off,
built Jade
which is what they wanted to do.
Without hurting anybody else.
New audience probably coming in.
Yep.
I'm sure they got a huge new audience just coming into this WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah.
So Guaranteed. You're showing off not only Jade Cargill, but Asuka, Bianca Belair, all these people there. They've been around for a little while.
Oh, Asuka's a Hall of Famer. The second she decides to retire,
top of the division. I mean, all these guys.
Bianca Belair is one of the like pillars right now. Like her and Rhea Ripley are like they are the big dogs.
Yeah.
The way I look at this is a different level.
It's a like a showcase match.
Yes. And that's what this was for. And everybody.
I mean, if you look at it, the times,
nobody had
right?
Nobody had
the shortest match on the night.
It is, but it didn't need to be longer. You know, it was perfectly timed.
Yeah.
It was designed to make everybody look good, have everybody have cool spots. But the obvious point of the match was build Jade to a hot tag and have her look like a superhero, and they did that perfect. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought that match was cool.
Mm-hmm. She's undeniable.
Jade is undeniable, man. It's everybody says she lives in a wrestling ring right now because she's going, I can get training in the best facility ever designed. And trained by Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
Trained by Shawn Michaels. Yep. So she's like, I soaked this like a sponge.
Mm-hmm.
Next match was absolutely incredible.
This was a great match. Yeah. Zayn and
Sami
Gunther.
Zayn versus Gunther. The great, objectively the greatest IC title reign of all time now. We can actually say that. It is the greatest
Zayn has been really good he's not under the radar, but he's like,
his interjection or injection into the Bloodline story.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
is what made it pop off.
Yeah, that was great.
That was like when stuff started to feel like it was really heating up for the Bloodline.
Well, it's so good because they can tie these stories together, and then that can break off into feuds, and it gives you different directions to go with things, 100%. And it brings the show together, keeps it interesting because everybody's involved.
Yeah, and there's consequences to story actions.
Correct. Yep.
Like, part of the buildup for this was they had a match between Chad Gable and Sammy. Gable I absolutely love that dude.
Oh, he's really fucking
incredible. Good. But Sammy and Gable had a nasty match to determine who was going to go here, and Sammy won, right? And so Gable started training him.
I love his heel turn.
Trained him for that. Oh yeah, we'll get to that. But Sammy was in storyline was getting trained by Gable to make sure he was fully ready to take this on. And he got the win. He won the IC title at fucking Mania 40.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Off of the greatest IC title guy of all time now. This Gunther elevated that belt to just barely not a world title level belt, if not just on the level. Like, we have never seen the IC title this valuable, except for maybe like the glory days of it.
Yeah,
like
Jericho
Bret Hart, Mr. Perfect and stuff. Oh, Jericho's a good point, though,
had a real good
because
run.
he had a crazy IC run. Yeah. But yeah, Gunther's had like the craziest run of all time at this point. 666 days.
Even in like the early 2000s, that had a decent Intercontinental picture.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Because I mean, I think.
And they had the European title.
Edge and like some of those guys.
Yeah.
European
for
titles
sure,
there.
for sure. But yeah, this was a big deal. Sammy winning that was awesome. Great match. Good length. It wasn't too crazy or anything.
Yeah.
And then there's the main event with The Rock coming back and having a match with Roman versus Cody.
First of all, let's just say that like The Rock coming back was a huge. It was like a
huge deal.
Yeah.
The press conference stuff. All the stuff they did, like The Rock coming back, and then the story they told with him taking the main event from Cody, and then Cody resisting and building up the revolution to push Cody.
Yeah, and
it was
the
so
fact
genius.
that let's try and break that down for a second, because the plan here originally is The Rock versus Roman Reigns. This is what they wanted to do.
Yep.
And the fans didn't want that.
They were like, "You've got to be kidding me!
Said,
You've been building to Cody Roman 2 for so long."
Yep. So
all the stars are aligning.
We're not going to stop about it. And this is what's great about this.
Yep.
The Rock, yes. And the company says we're pivoting.
Yeah. Which would have never happened under Vince. But now that it's The Rock,
he would have gone along with it. Yep.
Dude, Triple H was saying in an interview recently that The Rock called him and was like, "Here's the thing.
Yeah.
We gotta go a different direction. This obviously backfired. I'll turn heel.
On a dime, turns heel.
I'll turn heel. We'll roll with it. We'll do this." And Triple H went, "We're going to go that way."
Yeah.
And everything up to this was so incredible. I mean, Attitude Era level.
I was glued to the TV every time there was any segment involving this.
Everything was just unbelievable. And the match was unbelievable.
I said, if you are new to wrestling, start with WrestleMania, but honestly, don't start like a couple weeks before on Raw.
Like 1 month. But start at the press conference. Start at when The Rock comes back, and then the press conference they did like 3 days later to pivot.
Yeah, because you almost you need that build up. The build up for this match and the match at the end of night too.
Yes, for sure.
Because that
build up and story matters, because it tells you, like, build up and story is what makes the matches have weight to them. It's what makes it so that you can have The Rock versus Hogan at WrestleMania 18.
Yes.
And there's all this build up and all this lore that builds into that event. And then the match starts. They stand in the ring for 2 minutes while the crowd blows the roof off the place. And you've never seen a crowd go crazy like that. And the reason why is because story. Lore is what
builds
weight to matches. So This had
they pivot,
one of the best builds of all time.
And so now The Rock comes back as a heel, fucking absolutely kills it.
Absolutely.
Just
he looked incredible.
Better than if he was a babyface still, it wouldn't have been this good.
He looked better in this match than he did in the match with Cena when he came back like almost 10 years ago.
Oh, sure he did.
He legit did. Mm-hmm. He looked incredible, man.
Yep.
And he performed. Everybody was perfect in this. Everybody everywhere in the Bloodline stuff was absolutely perfect in their role. It all was pulled off to perfection.
The way they presented this is they have The Rock and Roman Reigns. They tag team against Rollins and Cody Rhodes.
Yes. There's so much nuance to the story.
Everything's mixing together.
You have Rollins is an injured workhorse who's been carrying the world title on his shoulders,
obviously
making it matter when they reintroduce
Roman Reigns.
Yes.
I mean,
so much history with Reigns, with Rollins. They were Shield members. Rollins betrayed Reigns. This is important. Rollins betrayed Reigns like 10 years ago now with a chair shot to the back, specifically, that broke up the Brotherhood. And they've had moments between each other on TV off and on for years now of teasing another meetup and stuff. And they, of course, they had
that was one of the best turns I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It was so unexpected.
Yeah. And it was painful. I love the Shield, but that's what made it so great, you know?
Yep.
So
the rule was
Rollins
that they had to, so Rhodes and Rollins needed to win this match to prevent the match on night 2 between Cody and Roman Reigns from being bloodline rules, which really kind of subjective.
And really all it was saying was like, if Cody and Rollins win, then it's really gonna just be Cody, Roman, all the marbles, no one else. And so everybody predicted that it would be Rock and Roman winning.
Actually would have been cool to see too.
It could have been cool. It could have been cool. The way it ended up was totally amazing. It was totally amazing. However, so
anyway, they do win.
The Rock and Roman win. Yeah, they win. And it all plays out perfect because in the build-up, Rollins is feuding with Drew McIntyre. McIntyre is super pissed. He's pissed at Punk.
Yeah.
And Punk's out. Punk gets injured. He's out.
It's just great. Dude, that one promo
so good.
where Punk was out there and McIntyre's sitting on the commentator table.
Dude.
All these storylines are coming together at the same time.
It's all intersecting. It's all believable. It's all based off of people's prior actions and words.
That was the best Raw I think I've ever. I think that
one of the best Raws I've ever seen. Yeah, one of the best Raws of all time. And then, so Rollins he's the hurt workhorse, and Drew's telling him, "Do not do this. You're stupid. I'm going to beat for the title."
Yeah.
And Rollins is like, "It has to be done. We have to tear down the bloodline. We have to."
Yeah, because the bloodline is
they represent everything. That is what people want to change. You have Reigns at the top of the WWE title, never showing up, doing the part-time thing, which is genius because he's doing it on purpose so that he plays that role of the guy you want there to be change from.
Yeah.
You know, which everybody's booing and shitting on Roman until he's gone, and now everybody's begging for him back and giving him his flowers he deserves, you know. But yeah, so then that sets up for night 2.
It's kind of like the corporation. You know, it's kind of like when you had Austin and Vince McMahon, you know, representing the top, and then the guy that everybody wants.
They want him to get there. Yep. So that match sets up for night 2. Seth already wrestled and lost, and now he's got to go defend his belt against Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
And that's the first match of night 2, and Drew beats him. And that match was awesome.
Great match.
And then Drew showboats to Punk.
Fucking open with that match too.
And Priest cashes in, which is amazing. And I love that on this official card, it's saying that match 2 was technically David Priest versus Drew McIntyre, which was 9 seconds. Yeah. Yep. But that was awesome. I loved that. I think Priest is money written all over him. Yeah. He's multilingual. He
looks a lot better with a belt.
He looks great with a belt. He's stepped up so hard, and I feel like in the past year or two, as things started to really cook and get awesome again, that Puerto Rico pay-per-view with Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest in the main event was when I saw Damian Priest and went, he's ready.
Yeah.
He's ready. He carried so much weight in that, and there was everything on the line in a giant arena, and that was one of the best pay-per-views in a long time, man.
Yep.
But anyways, so that's how that goes. So much story into that. We don't even need to bother breaking down.
There's just too much.
Too much to even go into. But it's like, Drew was right. Seth knows it. The most important thing there is that when Drew beat Seth stood outside the ring, and the cameras caught him doing it, but it wasn't even about the cameras. He stood outside the ring, and he cried. He just lost his belt, but he's looking at Drew, and he's telling Drew right to his face in the eyes, you fucking deserve this. You deserve it, man. Carry the belt like it's fine. And it all ties into this underbelly of Mania 40 where Rollins is the true MVP because he sacrificed everything he had. He was the world title. He had all this going for him. He got rid of it all. He sacrificed everything, truly, finally turning right and correcting the consequences of the heel turn 10 years ago.
Yeah.
In order to successfully change the guard.
Yeah.
He sacrificed everything for the greater good of the business.
Yeah.
And they told that story, and it was incredible.
And it was, it was a huge part of this, but it got overshadowed.
It did get overshadowed. I don't know if it did.
I think a lot of people appreciated it and understood
That's what I mean. It's not the main story.
Yeah.
But it's not ignored.
It could have been the main story.
Could have been if they didn't have as many, what I mean?
There's a lot of moving parts.
Like if there's no Rock and stuff.
Yeah.
They could have put more focus, but they put plenty of focus on it.
Mm-hmm.
I think they did a great job with that. And then, so Damian Priest cashes in. Incredible. And then we have the Pride is what they're calling it on this. I don't know. I can't remember hearing that name. But it's Lashley and then the Street Profits.
Yeah.
They're all awesome. And they tried to turn those dudes heel like 6 months ago or something.
Why?
And the crowd went,
Yeah,
no, and just cheered the shit out of them.
Oh, and Bubba Ray Dudley was in this. I forgot about that.
Yeah, he was the special guest referee, right? Yeah. This match was okay. I like all the guys in it. I like the Final Testament. I think that's needs a little more time to get
another
its feet
showcase. Another showcase. What you want is when you have like a 3-man tag.
Yes.
A lot of times that's what it is.
Yep, and it's a Philadelphia street fight gimmick match, which was clearly an homage to ECW.
Yeah, and you want to get these guys on the card is what part of it is. Yeah,
you want to get them on the card, get them paid, but all these dudes are good. Karrion Kross is great. Akam and Razor, I can't remember what they call those guys now. But they're those super hoss guys. They had a name. I wish I could remember it off the top of my head right now, but I can't. But their manager was Paul Ellering, and they were they were boogeymen in NXT. They were so good, and they are so good, and it's cool to see them back. And it was a no-brainer to have the Final Testament faction put together because it kind of felt like Karrion Kross and his wife Scarlett as his valet. Yeah, they were kind of floundering for a bit. You could tell they were having a hard time figuring out what to do with them.
Yeah,
I don't mind this. I don't mind factions right now in WWE because with the Judgment Day and with like Damage Control, they've shown us multiple examples now and the LWO stuff.
This isn't none of it's a problem as long as they can build them the right way.
But they've shown us that factions get used to elevate guys and make you see that they matter.
Yes.
And so I have no problem with that.
The beauty of this, you also we were just talking about the Shield. Mm-hmm. It's like you have factions that get huge, and then that's when you can make people turn.
You make them stars. Yeah.
Or whatever. Just break away from what they're doing.
Absolutely.
Because people know them.
So yeah, I had no problem with that match.
LA Knight and AJ Styles.
This was sick. Loved that match.
How could that not be?
Good luck getting these guys to have a bad match.
Yeah.
I love to see the rise of LA Knight. I've been so high on that dude for so long. He is so good. And
just like charisma through the charts.
Oh man, yeah.
He's like so skilled. He's like fast. But he's not. He's like also got like a pretty good power move set. Too.
Yeah, his style is great.
Yeah,
it's not too crazy. It's not too outside of the realm of being able to do it for a long time.
Yep.
It's still impressive. He's got a great move set. I love his finish. I love everything about him. I love LA Knight. So high on that dude.
Oh, he's
so cool to see him get treated like a main eventer now. You know. He's doing crazy merch numbers and stuff.
People
thought he was
so
going to be a
behind
flash
this
in
guy.
the pan.
No,
he's for real. And him feuding with AJ has been awesome. Attitude Era level stuff.
Yeah.
Even after this match, they just are feuding still, and it's nasty.
Because AJ is so fucking
AJ
good,
is first ballot Hall of Famer.
Absolutely.
He's one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah, I love AJ Styles.
He's the closest thing we've seen to a Shawn Michaels, in my opinion.
Yeah.
As far as
dude,
like
his ring work is
anybody gets in the ring with that guy, and they are looking like a 5-star match. Like,
yeah, he knows how to call a match for sure.
oh yeah.
Well, he's been doing it for a long time too,
Which is funny to see because the next match is the exact opposite.
Who hasn't been doing
It's Logan Paul having his like 11th match ever, and it's at Mania 40, and he blows it out of the park. He's absolutely incredible. I don't personally think anybody's had a faster take to wrestling at that level. I legit think Logan Paul was like born to do this. It changed his whole life.
He stepped in the ring
his perspective on everything.
He instantly stepped in the ring. He's like, I know how to do this.
Yep.
And then everybody
just gets it.
you do. I guess.
And like people in NXT that are trying to figure it out, they'll be pissed and go, why does he get to come in? It's like, well, one, he was super famous beforehand. That's just how it works. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sales matter. It just does.
Well, the
right?
same reason Ronda Rousey came in. And
but that's the greatest example because Rousey came in very clearly, did not give a shit about wrestling, didn't take it seriously, didn't like it, right? She just thought she could get a money grab out of it and go, well, maybe seeing, because like, you know, it is what it is. I'm not a big Ronda Rousey fan because of her exposing her true personality.
Yeah.
She made me not a fan of her with the stuff she says. She's very clearly delusional about her losses and stuff like that, and it's a bummer. When she came into wrestling, you could see it all over that she didn't really care, and it showed. It showed that she didn't get wicked good at it. She never got very good on the mic.
Right.
She never got very good in the ring.
Well, there wasn't a lot of time between the transition anyway.
Yeah, but all she did was turn fans against her too. She would say things that were like, come on. And she just hurt her cause. Logan Paul did the opposite. He came in and went, I'm a sponge. I was born to do this. This is changing my entire life. I know I do a podcast. I do all the stupid shit on YouTube and people have their issues with me. That's all going to go bye-bye because I'm getting rid of all that stuff. I'm just going to do the podcast literally out of hotel rooms on the road, and I'm signing a full-time deal with WWE, and this is now my career.
Yeah, and it's perfect because he can just pull Triple H aside and go, I'm talking to you on my podcast now.
He has access to all the guys.
Yeah.
But his podcast never used to be about wrestling at all.
No.
And now it's almost all it's about.
Yeah, because that's what he's doing.
He fell in love with the business for real, and it took over his whole life.
Yeah.
And now, because of that, all he does is train. All he's doing is focused on wrestling stuff, and he has so quickly earned the respect of all the guys.
He's such a great athlete. He really is.
He's unreal. And every single time he wrestles, he has something he does that makes you go, this guy's going to be world champion fast, and he's going to deserve it.
And it's a perfect formula for a heel.
Yes. Oh,
because everybody already
everybody already hated him, and he went, I'm used to being hated. This is easy money. And he can cut promos. He has a character. He has all the things that all these guys don't have that are probably looking at him going, why the hell does he get to move up the card? Well, because he's doing everything you're not.
Yeah, get in the ring with him and see.
Yep. He's great. And that's the thing too, is from what I hear, he puts a lot of work into pre-planning his matches. They don't call it on the fly much anymore. That's kind of like a lost art.
Yeah.
Who cares? Yeah. That's not what being good in the ring is anymore, you know?
Right.
That's incredible. I'm not going to discount calling it in the ring as a crazy good skill to have. And I wouldn't be surprised if he was like, I'm obsessed with figuring out how to do that. I got to be able to go out there with guys.
He would.
And he's gonna. I guarantee he does. But this match was amazing. I absolutely love this match. Kevin Owens and Orton are like, you don't even have to talk about him. At this point, Kevin Owens is doing side quest shit. He doesn't care if he ever wins another match, ever, because he had the Mania match with Austin.
So is Orton.
Orton's like, he's one of the greatest of all time.
He can show up anywhere and just have a match.
Yeah, it does. These guys are just a night
I saw
off.
Kevin Owens here. He had a match with Matt Hardy. You were there too, yeah.
Yep.
Matt Hardy.
Literally front row at some
crazy.
fucking gym
in
Oswego, New York.
That was Kevin Steen.
Yep, Kevin Steen. And he was that good then. Everything already figured out, character, mic work, everything. Yeah. He was ready to go straight to the top already. Yeah. He came in one of the best guys on the mic like ever.
Well, that's why when Matt Hardy was there, they put him in the ring with him.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. That was crazy. So Kevin Owens is cool for me because of that. Like, saw that dude on the indies in front of 50 people, and he was working this style, this way, that good.
Right. And when he gets he probably got a warm Bud Light and a hot dog.
We shot the shit with him for like 20 minutes before the show because we happened to be front row because there is. It's like front row. It's a tiny little gym.
Yep.
He's right there. So we're just like, how long you been wrestling, brother? He's like, I've been, dude, forever.
It's wild because
just shoot the shit with him because he's nobody at the time.
City League basketball in that place.
Yeah. And he wasn't nobody at the time because he was already, he was big in like Pro Wrestling Guerrilla and Ring of Honor and stuff. He was big in the indies.
People knew who he was.
But that's what you did. So like, it was so crazy that like after that, within 2 years, he was world champion in WWE.
Yeah.
It was like, wow.
Oh, yeah. It was fast. Yeah, his rise was fast.
Yeah. So obviously, this match was incredible. I loved that they have I Show Speed. That popped me because I just happen to know who he is from like his streams. And I think he's funny. I don't mind Speed. He's a psycho, but he loved this. And it's in line.
He got injured.
He did get injured, yeah.
Orton
fucked his ass up, yeah. But Logan Paul, it's like it's on brand because he's kind of known as like a social media influencer or whatever from before this. So of course he's going to be bringing in random guys like KSI and Speed and stuff like that. We're going to see more. I guarantee we see more.
Put whoever in the fucking prime bottle.
Speed behind the scenes. He watches wrestling. Yeah, Prime. Yeah. We're not sponsored. I'd love to be though. Dude, and Prime is good. It's actually good.
I tried it once and I was like, I don't know about this.
Depends on you got to try the ice pop one. I love Prime. I actually do.
Is that an energy drink or what is it?
So they make two different things. This one's an energy drink, and then they have the hydration drink.
I tried the hydration one. And
hydration ones are good. Really? I loved it. I
was like, this is like a 5-hour energy mixed with.
They're not dog shit for you though. Like the calorie count's good.
I'm
there's
sure,
not a bunch of.
And
they're trying to say that there's like poison stuff in there. We'll see.
Well, probably.
Even if there is, whatever.
Yeah.
But no, either way. Yeah, I thought that Logan match was cool. I liked him retaining. I don't think it's time to take that belt off.
No, this is a good time for him to keep the belt.
He needs it. He needs to continue the run.
Mm-hmm.
And then the match after that, Bayley and Io Sky, that was amazing.
Sure was.
Bayley's
so deserving. She was one of the ones that I was talking about with
women's
the
wresler.
Initial group of the women.
The 4 horsewomen of NXT that kind of started the women's revolution, yeah. Bayley's an industry changer, straight up industry changer, certified. Io Sky has had such a good championship run. Damage Control started off as such a who's cares faction, and they made it matter. They made it relevant. Io Sky is a credible, believable champion, and I thought that the story building up to this was awesome. I thought this was great, man.
At a certain point, if you have enough women's talent, you almost have to make a minor title too.
I think they should. It's funny you say that.
Really?
I think the time is now. The women's roster is so stacked and there's so much going on now.
Yeah, have a minor women's title.
It's time to have an A and a B. Like the men have the WWE champ and the world champ, and then they have the Intercontinental champ and the United States champion, right? They can do the same thing for the women's, and they already are. Like they have the tag champs, they have like the world tag champs and the WWE tag champs now.
Yeah,
and the women have the women's WWE champ and the women's world champ.
Right,
now.
they split that,
and they have the women's WWE tag champs and world tag champs now. They have both, right? Or do they even have tag belts? I can't remember.
Yes,
I think they do. Right,
they do.
I know it's sad. I can't remember. I've been watching it so much, but. There's too much going on. So they need to have the women's Intercontinental and women United States. It is time. Yep. It is time. And I think they will this year. I think this is the year they do it.
They have a big enough roster, and especially with this draft coming up.
They're there. And the draft's going to be crazy. And there's such good talent in NXT right now that's just waiting to get pulled up and fill in spots for
If you can do it after a draft, you already have, that way you can split those belts to the point where you can then have a minor belt underneath. That makes more sense.
And there's no reason not to.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's the main event. And this is one of the greatest main events of all time.
Yeah,
this blew everybody's mind. It was predictable. Everybody wanted Cody to win. It was his time. But the amount of story that went into this, it's literally multiple people's entire lives built to this moment.
Yeah. It had to have been.
You have a 10-year story payoff of Seth's turn on Roman. He comes out in the Shield gear and distracts Roman with the one thing that Roman could never let go of was that betrayal, and it directly compromised his ability to win the match. It's genius. Just chef's gift, dude.
Break down?
So good, so good.
I can get the...
But on top of that,
there was probably 6 run-ins in this
Cody's dad, right? Dusty is one of the greatest of all time. He's so highly regarded. He's so highly respected, and the one belt he never truly won was the WWE title. He won it by disqualification in like the 80s and had to relinquish it immediately because you can't win it by DQ or whatever. So it's a complication, but he had the picture, and all that story that goes into it is like why Cody is having this generational top guy of the whole industry run he's on.
Yeah.
And it's like when he came back, he told the story of like, I remember going into my dad's office when I was a kid and I saw that picture on the mantle of him with that title. And I went, where's that belt? Because he had all the other ones. And he went, where's that one? And he went, that's the one I didn't get, man. Like, you can't win it by DQ, so that's that. And he went, I'm getting that one for you someday. And then Dusty passed away and he never got to give him the belt himself, but he still went on this lifelong odyssey in pursuit of the one belt his dad never truly got to bring home.
It's really cool the way that...
Unbelievable real life story mixing with
not only that part of the story, but you're looking at the fact that like he went through this whole Cody Rhodes to Stardust,
Stardust was amazing.
Yeah,
because he made it amazing.
Oh yeah,
he had to leave. They were never going to see him as anything else but that. He had to leave.
Yeah, he did,
and he did. He left. Started AEW.
Yeah. And then, to fucking have
and
that
when
happen.
he was in AEW was when AEW was at its peak, in my opinion. That was when all the best stuff was going on there. Not necessarily because he was like a world champion, because he wasn't the world champion.
No, but
that's when it was its peak for me.
Yeah, they were at the height of what they were doing. Mm-hmm. And, to see all that, have him do that, come back as Cody Rhodes.
His comeback was unbelievable. And his first feud right out of the gate was Rollins, and it was amazing.
Yep. So during this match, right, there's like, I would say there's probably 6 run-ins at least, right? So it starts with, I'm trying to read this like paragraph, but Jey Uso,
you don't even need, I got you, brother.
Jey Uso runs in first.
Jimmy got involved first, and then Jey comes out.
Okay, yeah,
and takes that out.
Yep.
Then Solo interferes.
Mm-hmm.
And then Cena comes out.
Because Cena
comes out because Cena had history with Solo that they built over the past year. Mm-hmm. Cena came back and had a small little run, and he told everybody, I'm back for this long. I've got a break due to the writer's strike. I'm not going to be in Hollywood. I'm just going to tell you it is what it is. I have obligations in Hollywood
plus
now.
It's fucking John Cena.
But I love this place. I want to have a run, and I'm not retiring, but I have to do this,
Yeah.
And part of that was he feuded with Solo.
Yeah.
Which was sick. So, of course, Solo comes out. Cena comes out at Mania. Huge. That's so huge. And then
I didn't expect that at all.
And then to foil Cena, The Rock comes out, which is like, not only is The Rock so tied in with all this stuff going on with the bloodline,
but he also
has MAGA history with Cena.
Yeah. Well, they had 2 WrestleMania main events.
Yeah, back to back, which is incredible. So then The Rock foils Cena, and The Undertaker shows up. And a lot of people were pissed about that because they assumed it had to be Stone Cold, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it did. I don't see an issue with Taker.
I think it was...
I thought Taker made sense logically, too.
And I don't think it was ever supposed to be Stone Cold. I know there's like stories out there, people saying
I don't know if it was either,
I don't think it was.
Taker is just such a flagship of WWE, and he's the answer. He's the measuring stick.
It's such a big...
judge,
and it's a big, huge pop when you hear the bell.
Yep.
And then...
And he's the streak. He's so intrinsically tied into the legacy
he's
of
a Mania guy,
He is part of what made Mania special is his streak of matches that'll never get touched.
Yeah.
Having said that, he also has history with everybody in the bloodline all the way back to like their dads and uncles and shit. Yeah, he's been feuding with them forever. And one of his, like multiple of his best friends in real life are guys in that family. Like Yokozuna was one of his best friends back in the day and shit. So like he just has so much history baked into that, including history with The Rock. You know what I mean? So it's like,
it's hard. I mean,
it's ridiculous to say that made no sense.
He has history with everybody.
That's it's Taker. He's the fucking judge. He's the boogeyman.
Yeah.
That when shit's getting dicey and it's looking like it's about to be a screw job,
he shows up.
You're hearing the gong, you're seeing the black lights go, and he's going, no, not going to work for me.
Yep.
Judge.
So the lights go dark. He's in the ring.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all they needed. And that's all he needed.
And then all of the running stuff, they did all that cool story stuff that's clearly just to tie into the history of Mania and stuff like that. And it all makes sense in the story too. They all clear out. And then Rollins comes in Shield gear and has the final distraction with Roman to cause Roman to slip at the end so Cody can finally get it done.
It was just so...
Everything that Rollins was saying was right. He had to sacrifice everything to get there, but he did it selflessly, lost his belt, but won the war against the bloodline.
It was so great that they had Roman Reigns in this situation where he had Cody down, he has Rollins down, and he couldn't resist
revenge.
He has to.
He chooses revenge.
He has to hit Rollins.
Yeah, and he got even with Rollins, but look what it cost him. You know what I mean?
Right.
Cost him everything on purpose, and they told us that. Cody told us that before The Rock came back in the promo when The Rock is coming back for the first time. Cody says, "What is the story? It's not just me winning the belt. I have to take everything from you." Mm-hmm. And they already knew right there they were going to pass that torch.
Yeah.
And Roman has so much stroke behind the scenes. He could have so easily Hoganed it. And he didn't. And he's going to get respected forever at a different level because he went, this has to be done for business.
And he's going to be gone for a little while, which is going to make it even bigger when he does come back.
What they're doing right now with the bloodline is going to make it so when he comes back, he's going to get a mega pop.
Yep. Yeah, because he's going to be a baby face now.
Yeah, people are already after Mania 40 ended, people immediately started being like, that is one of the greatest title reigns ever, if not the greatest.
So now Solo is going to be, they're slowly moving their way.
So over the past couple weeks, now that we just finished wrapping up Mania, I guess, so I'm sure we'll end up talking about it for a while to go.
Yeah.
Constantly tying back to it. But the past couple weeks on Raw and SmackDown, Solo kind of took over the bloodline. They brought in Tama Tonga, who was over in New Japan, I believe.
Yep.
And he's amazing, and he's weathered. He's a veteran of the business, so he's an easy fit. You bring him right in. He can talk. He can work. Everything's going to be no problem.
Paul Heyman's doing a great job with this. He's like, he's like, I guess this is happening. I don't want this to happen.
But he clearly is resisting, but what can he do?
Yeah.
You know? And so you have Solo with Tama Tonga. Also, behind the scenes, there's been some information that Jacob Fatu, I think is his name, who's also in the Bloodline family in real life, signed with WWE, and they're waiting to bring him in. What I'm thinking is going to happen is it's going to result in so Solo attacked Jimmy. Solo and Tama Tonga came in, they attacked Jimmy and turned on him, which means I think it's going to be new Bloodline is going to be Solo, Tama Tonga, and Jacob Fatu when they finally debut him. And what you're going to get is they're going to be doing something, and you're going to get a Roman Reigns return with the original bloodline that started it all. Roman and the Usos with Paul Heyman versus Solo, Jacob Fatu, and Tama Tonga. And that's going to be a bloodline civil war.
You think Paul Heyman's going to be part of the...
I think he will,
I could see that.
That's what I think is going to go on.
Paul Heyman has just been so good for so long. Dude, I think it was
he's really the reason why the bloodline story was so good, even when Vince was in, because he had so much influence on it.
He was like... Solo was like, I forgot who he fucking attacked. It was like a couple of weeks ago. Like, you see Paul Heyman in the back, and he's going, "That's not what the tribal chief wants. It's not what the tribal chief." And I'm like, "Oh my god, dude, this guy is like, he's absolutely killing this role.
Yeah,
he could not like
he has
make it
only
better.
ever killed his role.
It's
for
just
years
so
now.
good. He's always been great. I mean, dude, he worked with Lesnar and like all these guys
and Punk.
Yeah,
before that,
CM Punk. I forgot about that. Yeah,
Heyman with Punk was incredible.
That dude's just a perfect mouthpiece, dude.
He's one of the greatest ever. One of the most important figures in wrestling history.
It's great because when you have a guy who isn't quite there in his promos, you just go, "Here's Paul Heyman."
Now you are.
Yeah.
And Heyman's not gonna just make you he's not gonna just cover for you as far as good promos. He's also gonna teach you how to be good at promos.
Yeah.
And it's obvious.
Unless you're Lesnar. Then you just don't talk at all. And
even Lesnar's not terrible at promos, though.
Yeah,
he just never had to.
But he doesn't have to. Yeah, he just has to be imposing. And
I'm curious if we'll ever see Lesnar again. I don't think he's gonna get the heat that Vince did because he never actually did anything.
Well,
like from what we know, anyways, he never actually did anything.
Yeah,
and Triple H got asked about him in an interview and was like, "Nah, he's just doing Lesnar shit. He's up on his farm." Like,
yeah.
Who knows if we see him again?
Which is probably true.
He's welcome, but who knows? Yeah.
Because I mean,
we'll see.
He's not really. He's a pretty private guy, really.
Super private. Yeah.
And I think that's why he doesn't. He's not on the mic all the time.
I think so.
He just isn't a talker.
And his feud with Cody, his trilogy, was the last thing he ever did before he kind of walked away.
Mm-hmm. And
it's what makes me go, he might not do it, man. His last gift to the industry was helping solidify Cody as the guy.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And now, the end result, Cody is the guy of wrestling as an industry. He's the top of the biggest company globally. He's the face of the industry. He's over with everybody,
He's really.
The guy.
You know, kids like him.
Everybody likes him. Not every. I mean, of every single wrestler ever is going to have haters.
Yeah,
and a lot of that is either haters, but I'm sure a lot of it's personal preference too. You know, like there's going to be guys that just always love a different type of character. You know,
and what's great now is like, people don't have to feel bad for liking the bad guy anymore because it's just
it's all good. Yeah,
it's part of what it is.
Some of my favorite wrestlers ever are because they were good scumbag heels. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Razor Ramon, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, like DX. I was going to say Triple H. They were heels.
But even just Triple H when he was on the Reign of Terror as the world champion, it was so good, dude.
I think,
good.
Man, I keep thinking about like who my favorite of all time is, and I have such a hard time deciding between Triple H and Chris Jericho. I just have such a hard time with that because I love the way Chris Jericho always reinvented himself and like how he was consistently good and like was good anywhere he went. And he was always so good on the mic, and he could do like funny. He could do like he could really pull off anything.
He'd do anything.
But Triple H was so imposing and
also can do anything.
Yes.
For me, it's Triple H over Jericho. Not like Jericho was such an important figure in the beginning of AEW too.
Yeah.
He was so necessary for that to be able to work. Having said that, Triple H doing what he's doing right now solidifies him as one of the most important people ever in the history of wrestling. He's pulling off right now will, it's going to solidify that.
That is the way I put it. I did have Triple H on top.
You did?
Write it down, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But Stone Cold was number 3.
Oh, you actually have him written down?
I wrote him down.
I love it.
Because I couldn't stop fucking.
So you have Triple H, Jericho, Stone Cold.
Yes, The Rock.
Okay. Oh yeah,
He's up there. Undertaker's up there.
Oh, has to be, yeah.
Shawn Michaels.
Yep.
Which could be a little higher. Seth Rollins is number 7.
Mm-hmm.
Rob Van Dam is number 8.
Very underrated. Very underrated.
He was incredible.
Yeah.
It still is pretty athletic.
Have you watched any of his matches in AEW right now, like within the past couple months?
No.
He looks unbelievable. He's like 50. He looks absolutely unbelievable. Still doing splits and shit. Yeah.
I mean, yes, his style was like so unique.
Yeah.
And it's so you could watch a silhouette of a Rob Van Dam match and you'd know who it is.
Oh, that's got to be him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just he's great. Sting is up there.
Ooh, yeah.
And that's pretty much it for me.
If
I only have 9, but if I had to sneak someone else in, it would be Eugene.
Eugene. I don't have a list written down, but off the top of my head, and I don't think I can come up with an order either. But it's
that was the hardest part for me.
The obvious
I know who
guys are like Shawn Michaels, Eddie Guerrero, Undertaker, Triple H, Stone Cold, Cody. I think Cody's one of my legit favorites of all time.
Jeff Hardy was definitely up there.
Yeah, Jeff Hardy's great.
When I was younger, I was a big fan of Jeff Hardy.
I think one of the reasons for WrestleMania 40 felt really special for me as a fan too is because Cody's legit one of my top 10 favorite wrestlers of all time. He was before any of this. Like me and Stace loved Stardust. I loved him since the minute he came in. I was like, this dude's so good. Why aren't they using him? Like, what are we doing? He was so good. And it's just been so cool following that in real time, not looking back. Like, not that that's wrong either. Looking back on it's cool, but actually being a guy who was a fan of Cody at the beginning, going, oh, this guy's Dusty's son, he's going to be incredible.
Right.
And seeing it all in real time as it's culminated to 40 has been really special, man.
Yeah, it is cool when you see like a generational guy.
And Cody's one of my favorites, but it's like, Shawn Michaels, Taker, obviously.
Well, it's like Seth
Eddie
Rollins.
Guerrero.
I always liked Seth Rollins, but like
Rollins
until like the last year or so, I wouldn't even put him in the top 10.
But this past run,
you can't deny that guy.
So good.
I loved everything he did with like when he started doing pedigrees and shit. Like I mean, he's always been fucking good.
He's unreal, man. He's one of the true workhorse guys.
Had to put him in there for sure.
Who else? Oh, Sting, of course. Sting for me too.
Sting was iconic.
Kind of obvious ones, but like when I was a kid, the Crow Sting story was happening in real time right in front of me, and I was just like, this is my favorite thing happening in wrestling.
I could arguably put...
Which is why Starrcade 97 hurt so bad. Because even as a kid, I was like, what?
Yep. Man, it was like, even with like NWO Sting and like all that shit.
NWO was awesome.
Yeah, it was phenomenal.
For me, another one of my favorite guys is Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero are like
that's what I was
way high on my list.
Yep. I like Edge a lot, but...
Yep, Edge is amazing. Jericho's amazing. It's so hard to narrow it down, dude.
There's just... Because
my top wrestlers list is like 100 guys.
I know, it's so hard. That's what I'm saying. That's why I had to sit there and like try and break it down
As a kid, though, my absolute favorite wrestler in the world was Shawn Michaels. That was my favorite guy.
When I was a kid, And
my earliest memories of wrestling is watching the build-up to WrestleMania 11, where Michaels won the Rumble and then went and lost at Mania.
Yeah.
And then WrestleMania 12.
I think when I was first started watching, it would be Rey Mysterio.
In WCW,
and
when you're like a little kid?
Yeah, that's WCW. Yeah, it was Sting and
That
Mysterio.
was so sick, dude.
Yeah, they had, I mean...
Dude, I was like 7. And it just blew my mind. I loved all that stuff so much.
Oh,
it was like 95, 96.
I used to, like... Me and my friend used to have, do you know what GeoCities is?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, what it was. Yahoo. Yeah. I think Yahoo owned it or something. But it was a website builder, and it was like your URL is just something no one's ever going to find.
Ever. Yeah, just a jumbled mess.
We made like wrestling websites, and that's what we did.
Sick,
we'd like update them like daily. It was fucking, we were just so into it.
Yeah.
And then with the free time that we had, we would play SmackDown. And
I was always N64 wrestling game guy. I liked them all. Like as a little kid, we had like Royal Rumble and Raw for Sega Genesis, and those are funny. I still go back and play them sometimes.
Yeah.
But then SmackDown, we had all the SmackDown games, and we always melted the shit out of those and put a ton of hours into them. But the real ones were like WCW versus NWO
No Mercy
Revenge,
and
WrestleMania 2000, and No Mercy.
Yeah.
Me and my brother put so much time into No Mercy just perfecting reversals that we would do rumbles on the hardest difficulty and wipe the floor with everybody. And then the second it was just to us, we would face off and have like a 45-minute match. We got so crazy at that game, dude.
Well, so like at the time, those games were like pushing the boundaries of the graphics.
Yeah, which you look back at now and you're like,
dude, when I first saw like WWF Raw, like the game, I was like, this is insane. Like, it looks real.
The Xbox one?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
It did look good. It actually looked good for the time.
That's funny you bring that up because wrestling games on SmackDown on PS2, like year to year, they'd put out a new one, right?
Yeah.
It'd be like, SmackDown, shut your mouth or whatever, and then Here Comes the Pain.
Yeah, Know Your Role, Shut Your Mouth.
Here Comes the Pain, and then it was SmackDown versus Raw, and then the yearly ones, right? I remember playing, like, vividly, me and my brother playing, I think it was Know Your Role, like the second one, right?
Yeah.
Or the second
that was
of
the one with
trilogy.
The Rock on it.
Yeah. And being like, dude, this is so good. The controls are deeper and like the graphics are so sick. And then Here Comes the Pain came out and we're like, these graphics are insane.
Yeah.
How does this look better than the other one?
I remember when you were doing finishers, you could hit the L1 again.
Yeah.
And it would freeze it and spin around.
Oh, yeah. But then we would go back to the previous game and be like, this looks like shit.
Yeah.
And then the next one would come out and the one we just thought looked like insane, we'd be like, now this one looks like shit.
Yeah.
Like,
well, fighting games
so
and wrestling games like always can focus on just the people that are in their ring.
Yeah.
So it makes it a little easier to
it's a little easier,
photorealism.
For sure. And now, I mean, even the games are starting to get good again.
Yeah.
They brought back GM mode and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't played a lot of 2K24,
kind of like,
but I want to play the showcase mode, and then we'll see what happens from there. But I just don't have time. I wish I had time.
I know.
I fucking got to play Helldivers. I got other shit I got to play.
There's so much, dude. Plus, the Fallout series just came out, so like, everybody's playing Fallout again. I for sure am deep diving all of them. But yeah, man. Kind of the moral of this episode 1 story is that right now is the time to start watching wrestling.
If there's anything that people have learned from this is that we could probably do this for like 8 hours and probably never run out of shit to talk about, which is why this is great.
And that's why we're doing the podcast now. We've actually been talking about doing a wrestling podcast for a long time. I've also been talking about doing a separate one with a different idea with Mark and Odie.
Yeah.
And I want to do
that's
that.
That's the
still.
Nitro one, right?
Or that's going to be. So what we want to do with that one is do watch-alongs of every single episode of Nitro.
Which
starting
I would
at the
love
first,
to do that with Lucha Underground.
I know. We should do that with Underground, because I've never watched any of it. Like, I've seen moments,
I mean, there's only like 3 seasons or something like that. So it's
but that's why it's cool. You could do it as a limited series.
Yeah.
Watch all the episodes, and when it's done, you call it, you know? Mm-hmm. But, I definitely still want to do that series with those guys, and hopefully will. For me, it really just depends on their schedules. Right. But aside from that, you and I have been talking about doing this for a while. Yeah. And just like as we're finally like, it's time. We have the studio set up now and stuff.
You know, we have the right time. We have the right schedules and shit.
Yeah, schedules line up.
Yeah.
So it's the right time, and the business is popping off now again. It's like perfect time. Yes. Let's do this.
And I want to get into a groove. We got to do our regular episodes too, so we're gonna start doing those again.
Yeah, you're still doing clear shots. Yeah, of course.
We never were consistent with that, so we want to get a schedule.
Yeah, and we're gonna do our damnedest to do a consistent schedule for this one too.
Yeah. And
there's not much that stops us from being able to do it. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Not right now, anyways.
And they're not going to be long. This one's probably longer than
which is fine because it's the first one, and we're kind of
But we're like I said to you earlier, maybe 45 to like 90 minutes is enough to like. You don't want to like. Sometimes like long podcasts take people
a little too much.
They don't. Sometimes you don't click on it because it's 3 hours and 53 minutes or whatever.
Yep. For sure.
It's like if you see something that's 90 minutes, something that's under 100.
For me, it's got to be under 2 hours. Yeah. If it's on the 2 hour mark, there's got to be a good reason. Like if this ran 2 hours, which I don't think it has, but if for some reason it did, I'd be like, it's the first episode. It is what it is. You know what I mean?
We did have a minute where we were trying to figure out the headphones.
Yeah. And that's what makes me go, maybe not. But it's definitely over an hour.
Yeah. And we were really just scratched the surface with it because there's a lot more.
This is gonna be fun, man. I doubt that we're gonna be doing a lot of analytical breakdown week to week of Raws and SmackDown and stuff like that.
It's probably going to be a lot of reminiscing and nostalgia.
A lot of reminiscing, a lot of random discussion. Like, hey, behind the scenes, we'll be messaging and be like, dude, let's talk about Eddie Guerrero this week or something. You know what I mean? And we'll just that episode, we'll just talk about one guy or something, you know?
Yeah.
It's going to be a sorted topic, but always wrestling. That's the idea.
Yeah. Well, I love this. This setup too is great because we can watch matches if we want.
We can do watch
and have you guys
stuff.
follow along.
Yep.
Streaming the whatever if you have Peacock or whatever.
Yeah.
So
that's what we will definitely be doing that at some point.
Yeah, I think it'll be cool.
Yeah. We got the first one in the books, brother. Let's go.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for listening. It's gonna be. This is kind of weird because we're going to throw it right into our feed with the clear shots. Sure. But whatever. Like, if you don't want to listen to it, you don't have to.
Yeah.
There's just play button. Don't click on it.
Yep. It's easy to avoid.
Yeah. We'll have it up on our YouTube channel. It'll be like on it'll be on Spotify, like the video here and everything. So
Yep.
All the
That's
whole
gonna be
9
so
yards.
cool, man.
All right. Also, the website is completely redesigned. Go check that out. And that's it. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.